Hello guys, Ben here, and welcome back to another episode of our Evolution of a Village series. And I'm doing this instead of our instead of the rules that matter, simply because I haven't gotten any rules and I didn't want to add another one. So what we're going to be adding today to our village, or at this point I guess we can call it a kingdom, is we're going to be adding a grain silo to collect all the wheat and shit that would get collected in a village like this. We're going to put this here. And the reason why I'm putting it at this level is because you would need to, be able to access this. Here we go. So, one of the things I like to think about every now and then, though this is kind of a bit of a morbid thing to think about if you're really paying attention, it is kind of, I guess morbid is the best word to use to describe it, but okay, we're going to go all the way around, and did that go straight down? Nope. Okay, so what I'm going to do it like this. There we go. That way it goes straight down. And we're going to do that. Just to make it look like you can, switch it up. But when I say it's a morbid thing to think about, what I'm talking about specifically, and I'm also going to have like a stairway system, that way you can actually get up to the top of this to input stuff in there, that way it's usable. But it's the, actually I should just be doing the logs on the corners. It's a little mental exercise. So what this is you have to take musicians who are dead, okay? Sometimes I like to restrict myself to those that have, that died very early on in their life, dead too soon, gone too soon. So and I like to see what type of band I could come up with using those, like the best band I could think of, or the band that I would most want to listen to. And the one that comes to mind the most, and feel free to play the game in the comments, because it is kind of fun, despite being an extremely morbid subject. I think that's an understatement. Yeah, let's do it like this. Okay, and then there we go. And the whole point of playing this game is, just to give yourself a little mental exercise, because everybody likes to talk about making super groups and all that. And all a supergroup is musicians who were pretty darn famous in their own right. Actually, do it like this. Oops. And then I'm going to need the trap door. And this is just, just to have a little bit of fun and say, oh, this would have been an awesome band. But the whole point of a supergroup is a bunch of musicians who are famous in their own right, get together, and then they play together, maybe records their own album or whatever. Doesn't always lead to the best results, if we're completely honest with ourselves. That said, sometimes it leads to some great results, but there are just too many egos, and, well, the band collapses because of that reason. And what I'm going to do now is we're going to need to actually grab ourselves a snow block, a regular old snow block. And the reason why I'm using snow block is because I think it'll look the best. Though, actually, now that I think about it, I should be using bone blocks for this. Now that I think about it. If I can find them. There we go. Oops. There we go. And I'm really just using the bone blocks because I think their texture works best. And we're just going to put this up. In some places high as it'll go, in some places lower. But the entire bottom level is definitely going to be covered. So the first band that I think, the best band that I personally can come up with is, and I like to try and, keep it so that it would actually sound good, because, if you start throwing in, hyper virtuosos and all this, you're not going to get a group that sounds too amazing all the time. Yeah, I think that's good for that. And we're just going to cover it up and add that. Yep, that works for me. Oops. There we go. There we go. And speaking of, that's actually the right level for that. And then I'm going to grab a shovel. And the band that I came up with, I decided to try and choose musicians I think could have been versatile enough to actually perform. Because if we're being completely honest here, you want musicians who would be able to, that's the type of musician you would want. Okay, this all works, and then I guess we can use the trapdoors to okay. Well, that ended pretty well. Nope, that obviously was not what I wanted it to be. There we go. Actually, no, I want it to be on this side. There we go, that way you have a full thing. And the band, wow, I've been stalling on this one. So the drummer is, I decided to choose John Bonham for two reasons. Number one, is I think as a drummer he was better than Keith Moon, which is really the main reason why. I mean, don't get me wrong, Keith Moon was a good drummer, but, Entwistle, the Who's bassist, was like, Keith Moon couldn't keep a beat, so we kind of had to take that job on ourselves. So, you know, I love you, Keith Moon, but, you know, when your drummer can't keep a beat, that's just generally not a good thing. And so our bassist is Cliff Burton of Metallica. And I feel that he really would have been able to gel with this, because you have to remember that Cliff Burton was really the most musically talented of, you know, Metallica's musicians, even back when Dave Mustaine was part of the band. Yeah, that looks nice. It's simple. It's effective. You know, it doesn't look too absolutely insane. You can actually go inside of it. You may want to light it up if you actually do put one of those. And you can also keep, you know, actual hay bales there instead of bone blocks. But, you know, I think Cliff Burton definitely was definitely the best musician in the band. Why don't we go ahead and add an actual farm here? About how large are they? Okay, 7 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 7 by 9. Okay. And this is actually a pretty perfect spot, except for the fact that I actually just want to make this. I want to make this a little bit larger. So what I'm going to do is we're going to dig a little pathway through here. And there's a reason why I want to dig it like this. Because I kind of want this wheat field to... And I may extend this a little bit. There we go. And let's just dig a puddle here. I'm just going to make a giant-ass wheat field. A wheat field, so to speak. And yeah, so the guitarist, I really honestly don't think there can be any other guitarist for this band than Jimi Hendrix. And also he'd take over, he'd be doing the vocals in the band. And a lot of that is just because I think that Jimi Hendrix could easily be described as the greatest guitarist of all time. At least in my humble opinion. And this is coming from someone who, you know, I play guitar, but I'm not terrific at it. Okay, let's see if that goes. Okay. Clearly not. And actually, undercuts are not that terrible of an idea. Nope. That was not, definitely not something I wanted to do. There we go. I guess that's fine. Well, It's not as flowing as I want, but I think it's fine for now. So I'm going to take that. We're going to get rid of that. Tools. I'm going to need a hoe. What we're going to do is we're going to start just really just whoops, kind of making all this match. And actually, now that I think about it, that's going to be, we're going to need to actually make sure there's a gap in between, you know, the path, and we're going to put like a wall of some sort up. Goodness gracious. And I'm going to need to make sure that this isn't too far. Slash clear. Except I didn't mean to do that. Okay, there we go. And, you know, it's tough because one of the other exercises I like to do with this is I like coming up trying to figure out what this group would become, or called, what this hypothetical group would be called. And I'm not sure if I can name this group. Now, I'll probably put a house to this farm up at some point. And like I said, I have no clue what I would call this group. But I do know that they would be incredibly talented, and they would write some very good music. And I thought, okay, well, we've actually got a band that would have some musical talent. What if we called them, what if we just had a group to see what the hell they would produce? Because let's be honest, that would be fun to see too. And terrific. Because apparently these aren't close enough to the actual water. And I'm just going to go ahead and do this. So this group, I decided we're going to work from the guitarist to the drummer, because our drummer is Keith Moon. So talent is not something we have at the drumming position in terms of just being able to keep a beat. So, you know, we do actually need to have some talent somewhere. So, for the guitarist, I decided we're going to actually have two. we're going to have Duane Allman and Stevie Ray Vaughan. Two guitarists who I think would pair up, or I'm sorry, not Stevie Ray Vaughan, I'm sorry. Like I said, I wanted this to be the what, just what in the world are we doing? So we're going to put Kurt Cobain as our main, is kind of like the rhythm guitar and vocalist. And as for but we are going to have Duane Allman in this band. For those of you who don't know who Duane Allman was, listen to any Allman Brothers song that had, I think before 1973. And specifically any Allman Brothers band song that has slide work, slide guitar work. Or is it sometimes called bottleneck? Because the traditional way of making a slide was taking a bottleneck from like a wine bottle or a beer bottle or something like that. Really? A diamond hoe can't kill a chicken? Well, that's kind of actually a shame now that I think about it. Okay. Wow. Really? So, Duane Allman and Kurt Cobain are at the front. Our rhythm section is actually the entire Who rhythm section. So, our bassist is John Entwistle. And our drummer is, of course, Keith Moon. And so the name for this group, I know exactly what they would be called, especially considering two of them are from The Who. We're just going to call this group The What. Now, if anybody actually has the ability to do this or anything like that, Getaway Sheep. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab an axe. And kill you. There we go. It's looking nice. So yeah, I think we're about close to being out of time. So if anybody's been paying attention, go ahead and just, list your dead musician band in the comments section, and I'll probably include it in the next episode, the one that I like the best. And probably between now and the next episode tomorrow, I'll expand this wheat field and probably add a little farmhouse somewhere. It'll be similar to this one, just a tiny bit different, I think. And I think we may... and I'll probably go up back to the castle and for the next episode. But I'll show you what work we did accomplish here. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day, and see you next time. Bye.